to the Red Menace. We're bringing you the latest and greatest stories from what feels a little bit like the apocalypse. My name's Chris Bolson.
I'm Allison Hore.
And we have a special guest here today.
I'm Rebecca Hore.
That's the sister of Allison Hore.
The name. There is a lot of whores out there in the world. Going in for an easy joke, obviously, to start.
That's a good
A lot
start,
of whores
yeah.
out there, but yes, I am related to Allison.
I feel like I've made that joke already at some point, so you're just already coming in with like rehashing old material, Rebecca.
This is a best of clip show episode today.
We were trying to inject some fresh energy, some new blood, and it's failed miserably.
Oh dear. You've had your sister on the show before.
Yes, I have. My sister was, I suspect, a little bit less animated than your sister is going to be, just based on their respective personalities. My sister was on the show because she was staying at my apartment at the time, and we had to record the show. Rebecca wants to be here.
I forcibly
She's come
inserted
out
myself
of her way
into
to
this.
go there.
Right? She's sitting in my decrepit, filthy kitchen.
And there was track works today.
That genuine commitment.
Train news, Sydney City train news. There are track works today.
I swear to God, every time I try and organise something, this happens. Okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's always track work in Sydney at some point.
So, the track work is making like life here feel a little bit difficult. Mm-hmm. But you know what else is making life here feel a little bit difficult?
Mm-hmm. The apocalypse.
Just can't shit.
Oh no! I've had those pills that stop you.
Yeah, it's been days. I can't afford to. There's you're trying to find the toilet paper. You can only get it on eBay for $100 a roll. It's not.
It's been a bit of a year for you guys over there in Australia so far. First, you've got everything's on fire.
And then we're all underwater, and now we can't shit.
And now the toilet paper is in crisis, apparently, according to some people.
Well, because here's the thing about when you have the flu, you do shit yourself to death. And that's what everyone's very worried is going to happen.
That's the main symptom, I suppose. I did miss that.
So you're saying, Allison, that when you've been sick, you haven't shut yourself to death?
Well, personally, no, but I can see that other people might because they're not as strong and chadly as me. So,
those
like,
little
I can...
beta cups with
sphincter muscles are...
Yeah, beta sphincters.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The betas out there and the soy boys, they might do it, but for me,
if you eat that much soy, Allison, it's definitely inevitable.
Well, my feeling was, right, because, okay, sure, there's a lot of people out there that are stockpiling cans, but some people don't like canned goods because canned goods are disgusting.
Yes.
So they're probably just going to be eating raw, not raw pasta, but, plain pasta and plain white
raw
rice.
pasta, Allison.
If you're eating plain pasta or uncooked raw pasta and uncooked raw white rice, you probably won't be shitting. So you won't need toilet paper.
When you do, it's going to be a violent process.
It's going to be really
unpleasant.
You've got bigger things to worry about than wiping
Quite
when you
literally.
eventually do need to shit.
I just don't think you'd even need to wipe at that point with the amount of starch.
Well, you probably wouldn't. It'd probably be clean.
It would be like a nice bready, doughy kind of
I was thinking like a brick.
Oh yeah,
rocks.
Just a nice little powder you've got coming out.
This is the worst intro we've done to this podcast.
Okay, guys, it's been a pleasure. Gonna
Should
go.
we give a bit of context for people listening about what the fuck is happening in Australia?
Oh yeah, coronavirus is meaning that everybody is terrified that they're going to have to suddenly stay at home for 2 weeks and not be allowed to go outside without killing a bunch of people. So what they're doing is they're buying a whole lot of toilet paper.
I don't know how many times these people traditionally shit in a day.
I think too many is the answer.
To justify buying that much toilet paper for a 2-week coronavirus lockdown.
Rebecca's making a real expression of
I don't want to go into too much detail. I buy a nice standard 4-pack, and that gets me a good amount of time.
Sure.
And if I was faced with the prospect of 2 weeks, maybe I'd up it to a 6-pack in my
How many squares do you traditionally use with each movement?
You're just going down to the Woolies, buy a 6-pack of TP, you can have a big weekend, mate.
Yeah, it's fucking huge.
Jesus
and it's just, when we're looking at 48 packs, multiple 48 packs.
I guess, like, families, maybe. But, like, how big's your family? At that point, you need to reconsider your life choices.
Look, you'd need 12 people.
Point. If there's teenage boys in the family, there might be other uses for that toilet paper than shitting. So perhaps that's a valid reason.
Now, Allison.
True.
The teenage
toilet
boys
paper, my understanding is that toilet paper...
What I mean, Chris, is that teenage boys are going to use the toilet paper to turn each other into
boys
mummies
like ourselves.
because that's what they do.
Teenage boys like ourselves, I believe the standard item to use culturally for that is tissues, Allison.
You can't use tissues to wrap your friend up like a mummy, Chris. That's what they're doing with the toilet.
What were you thinking
That's
about?
definitely
Where
what
were
I
you?
was thinking about, is mummy wrapping up. And I've just got to say, if you sticky tape enough tissues together and you believe in yourself, you can do it.
You can. So you know the thing with this toilet paper shortage is I remember at all like the church youth group things I had to go to as like a teen. The fun icebreaker activity was you wrap up someone like a mummy. So how are church youth groups going to get through this shortage when they can't wrap up people like mummies of toilet paper?
I'm just now learning that church youth groups are responsible for deforestation, because that's an enormously wasteful use of toilet paper.
This is going to be the death of religion. Christianity is going to end because of the coronavirus, because the ice will no longer be broken for young Christians.
It will just be so cold in there, and they will never reproduce because they'll never be able to talk to each other.
Oh, and then the teen delinquents TPing the churches as well. They're going to be lost. They're going to have no point in life.
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
They're just going to have to start smoking that heroin, because what else can they do?
crack.
They're going to smoke a marijuana cigarette outside the church. That's what they're going to be doing.
They'll be injecting that marijuana into their butts where the marijuana goes.
Jesus Christ. Do you want to hear a story about the toilet paper crisis? So this is one that happened earlier this week, actually. Well, there's been a lot of different things about this toilet paper crisis that are seriously just wild. But as we know, 2 days ago, there was a bit of a disaster because one of the toilet paper trucks carrying toilet paper burst into flames.
Oh, shit.
Which I believe is only adding fuel to the fire, if you will, of this crisis. I'm just trying to get the...
You know I don't approve of puns, Allison.
Well, you know. So I'm actually reading from an article from my part of the world, in fact, at this time, which is from the Straits Times, which I believe is from Singapore. And it's good to get an outside perspective on what's happening in our weird country.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining the headline is going to be like, what the fuck is happening in Australia?
What the fuck is wrong with these people? Virus hit Australia in tissue tizzy as toilet paper truck catches fire. Man tasered in store brawl.
Okay, so this is like some next level. This is some apocalyptic shit. I love it. This is the end times. This is how it starts.
The photo is, in fact, of the toilet paper truck on fire on a Brisbane freeway. And the next photo is an empty shelf of toilet paper with the Coles prices are down hand pointing at the toilet paper.
Well, that's just poor economics from Coles. What they should be doing is putting their prices
up,
up, trying to take advantage of this situation.
That's what all the Gumtree sellers are doing.
Maybe I should get in on that grift, start selling TP on Gumtree.
Well, you know, a delivery truck carrying toilet paper has burst into flames in the Australian city of Brisbane, while a fight over toilet roll in New South Wales ended with a man being tasered amid panic buying driven by concerns over the coronavirus outbreak. Shoppers have swept shelves clean of toilet paper all week, and supermarket chains, Woolworths and Coles, have had to limit the amount people can buy. The government has urged people not to stockpile it, and Prime Minister Scott Morrison has even tried to calm consumers' worries about the tissue, as Australia's tally of coronavirus infections climbed to 53. It has had 2 deaths.
Have you ever listened to, like, an old person talk about, like, when during the war we had to, like, ration food, and it was this really...
Yeah.
I look forward to telling my grandkids about when during the coronavirus we had to ration toilet paper.
Well, no, we're not rationing it. We're doing the complete opposite.
Well, no, Woolworths is rationing it because we're irresponsible and can't be trusted. Woolworths is rationing it to the consumers. But the consumers, from the amount they're buying, they're not planning on rationing that.
If they were rationing, they could use 2 squares per movement, and then it'd be enough.
Allison, okay, continue.
In the suburbs of Brisbane, Australia, the truck caught fire after its engine exploded on late Wednesday. Police and firefighting services said the driver escaped without injury, and also the cargo, including the toilet paper, was largely unaffected. Thank God.
Oh, thank God.
Phew. I was going to say, because that to me seems like the thing that starts the riots, is like people beat the driver to death because they just need to get that toilet paper out.
They start looting the trucks directly.
Yeah, exactly. They take the clothes off the driver's corpse, saying like, this is just as good.
I'm going to start stockpiling bricks, so then when the looting happens, I have the bricks to be able to loot the toilet paper stores.
Well, I'm glad that's what you're doing with the bricks.
I sell the bricks at an inflated price to fellow looters.
Okay, I like this. I was very confused at first where you were going with this.
No.
I'm thinking we were going to be substituting the toilet paper for bricks.
Also, yes. Yes.
That doesn't sound ideal to me.
Can I suggest what you could do is wrap a brick in toilet paper and then sell it to someone saying, this is all toilet paper.
This is 100%.
It's like the suitcase with one layer of money on the top.
That's a good prank.
Sell a very small amount of toilet paper for a lot of money.
Why is this toilet paper so heavy?
That's how it is.
It's just dense.
Have you ever had 15-ply toilet paper before?
Toilet paper. This is like triple-proof toilet paper.
This is like 10 rolls in one.
You need a saw each time.
This is the shit astronauts use.
In the New South Wales town of Tamworth, about 4 hours' drive north of Sydney, police were called to a store after a man allegedly lashed out and attacked another customer and a worker while trying to buy toilet rolls.
Seems on brand for Tamworth.
Grabbed headlines and added to growing worry about the availability of toilet paper, which Australia's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Brendan Murphy, had tried again to ease on Thursday. There is no reason to denude the shelves of lavatory paper in the supermarkets.
Jesus. Could you sound like less of a prick, maybe? Just like a little bit.
I reckon that's why people are still buying it up, because they just have no idea what he's just requested of them. They hear that.
There's no reason
but they
to
think he sounds like
denude
such
the shelves.
a dickhead.
They're like,
they
no,
can't,
fuck you.
in good conscience, do it.
I do like that phrasing, though, denude. I've never said that before in my life.
I have literally never heard that word
I'm pretty
up until
confident
right
that's
now.
made up. Like, that's his word that he's coined.
Oh, he's calling it lavatory paper, not like bog roll or something.
Shit rag.
Even just
Shit
toilet
rag.
paper. I think toilet paper isn't inflammatory. It's not.
Poo cardboard.
Well, shit rag isn't about toilet paper.
You know,
Shit rag's
that's a little classless, you know. But even
I mean,
lavatory paper.
we are in Australia. Like,
Well, that's the thing. We are in it. Jesus.
Did you see the Northern Territory News has responded to this as well by, in their paper, printing 8 pages which can be used as toilet paper with
bonus
cut lines and all.
toilet paper pages. Now, that's not going to have a lot of plies. But
No, not like my
but
premium 15-ply brick paper.
Jesus Christ.
Which also does function as a deadly weapon if need be.
Looting, bludgeoning, all these fights breaking out in the stores.
Exactly. You've got to start carrying bricks with you everywhere.
Before we
nowadays.
move on from toilet paper, does anyone else have a toilet paper story they would like to regale us with?
Well, on the train journey here from the north to the south of Sydney, I was just browsing.
Descent.
Yeah, the descent. Let's call it what it is. I was browsing Facebook and I came across some hashtag breaking news from the 9 News Sydney Facebook page about a scuffle has broken out at a Woolworths in Chullora this morning, with patrons coming to blows over toilet paper, forcing employees to intervene.
Can we I just want to act this out. Can we, how we think this conversation, because I want to go how you go from 2 people try to buy toilet paper to a brawl.
I haven't watched the video, but they're not in the toilet paper aisle either. They're in front of the candy section, and it looks like, and again, I've not watched the video, it looks like someone's tried to steal the toilet paper out of another patron's arms.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking happens, right? So,
Sure.
guy, let's call him Jeremy, first guy.
They're all
that's
women
the
involved
man's
in this
name that I use
situation.
every single time, Jeremy. He gets his toilet paper, last one on the shelves. He's so excited. He thinks, I deserve a little reward for this.
It's Quilton too. You know, this is the good stuff. I'm treating myself tonight.
I'm going to go buy a 50-pack of Minties.
Sugar-free Haribos.
Sugar-free Haribos. And whilst he's there, his other friend, who I'm going to call Kenneth, and by friend I mean a person he's never met, looks at him and thinks, well, he's about to buy a 50-pack of Minties. He doesn't deserve the toilet paper. He's going to waste it. Because those Minties are going to just...
frivolous.
Chew through him.
Yeah, they're going to ravage his insides.
Rip it right up.
So he's
As
like,
someone who's never eaten a
I
Minty
can more
before.
responsibly use this toilet paper than Jeremy can. Which I get.
Jeremy
And then
needs
naturally
to...
you punch him in the face.
Well, no, I was thinking he takes it. Jeremy turns around and he says, can't you see what I'm doing? I need that.
I need to eat these Minties.
I'm in too deep. The Minties are required at this point.
Jesus Christ. I did find the article about this situation, though, if you want more context about what's happening.
She does this a lot, Rebecca, where you come up with a story
I
that you
so
think
proudly present, this is the one, and Allison's like,
Allison's like, whilst you've been talking about this and I've been pretending to listen, I've gone and found another article about the same thing that I will now read to you.
I actually have absolutely zero context besides the thumbnail of the video and the little Facebook description. So I'd love a bit more information because they're not even in the toilet paper aisle here. So Chris's role play was very good.
Recording.
Thank you. What?
I got this before we started recording because I thought, I'll bring the breaking news in, but then Rebecca just goes ahead and bloody steps right in. I'm not lying. You can look at the email timestamp, Chris, and see what time I sent the email to myself.
You could just say you've been polite and you've let the guest, feel like they're bringing something.
This is all staying in the show.
This is gold.
So I did have the story that's got a little bit more context, but there's not really that much more context. What you can see is you see a woman with a trolley full of toilet paper.
Ah.
And the other two women approach. So a 49-year-old woman... So the video shows punches being thrown by a woman as another woman holds on to a packet of toilet paper. The 49-year-old woman can be heard saying, I just want one pack.
Oh, no.
A mother-daughter duo is filmed yelling at the woman with one claiming, you smacked my daughter.
I need this. I
Just the one.
A Woolworths employee is filmed saying, look what you're doing. You're fighting over tissues. Think about what you're doing. You need to stop, all right? There's a limit. It's unfair. I mean, that Woolworths employee laying down some truths.
I need that Woolworths employee to shop with me every time I enter the supermarket, and I'm like putting 3 bags of Doritos into the trolley, and I need him to say, look what you're doing.
Look at what your life has come to.
You need to stop. There are limits for a reason.
How about I will bring a story. This is a pivot.
Okay, so there's no poop involved in this one.
Yeah, this is not a TP story, but I assume we're probably going to come back to TP at some point.
Almost without a doubt,
we will.
So this is from stuff.co.nz. This is written by Siobhan Downs. The headline is, Auckland Cafe hits back at negative Zomato reviews.
I read this.
Oh, you did?
I did.
It's very good.
It is very good.
All right, well, please try to pretend you're hearing it again for the first time.
Yeah, I will. I'll pretend I'm hearing it for the first time. Rebecca doesn't read the news, so this will be news to her.
I browse Facebook a lot, and sometimes things pop up on my newsfeed. I read a lot of the Batuta Advocate.
That's something.
It is.
I get passing information tangentially. Oh, Scott Morrison must have done something today because they're popping off with satire.
An Auckland cafe has defended its unconventional approach to dealing with negative Zomato reviews with the age-old adage, you can't please everyone. The Plum Cafe in Takapuna has a 3.9 rating on the popular restaurant review site based on 86 reviews. But the cafe's snarky responses to unfavourable reviews have been leaving a sour taste in customers' mouths. Clara, who asked to be identified by first name only, said the cafe's response to her review was beyond rude. As long as they have good customer service and are taking feedback, I always see potential in a cafe. But with this cafe, I will never be going back, she said.
Did she order the
I'm sure that's exactly what she sounded like as she said it.
The chops.
The chops.
The fush and
I'm
chops.
feeling very immersed right now in this universe.
The cafe hasn't just left snarky replies to Clara's review, but it has made a habit of it. A manager told staff he didn't mind what reviews said, and that customers who liked their food would keep coming back regardless of what was written online. Another customer recently left a review saying, whilst they had loved the cafe's blueberry pancakes, they were disappointed by the burger. The cafe thanked the customer for their review, but added, "It's fair that you didn't enjoy the burger, because we know we couldn't satisfy everyone in the industry. So if you're looking for a burger with beef patties, please just use Google and search McDonald's. I'm pretty sure you'll find answers."
That is beyond rude. That is disgraceful.
Disgusting.
It's so offensive.
I like how it's not even that snarky, though.
No. It's just
you could be worse if you wanted to be.
I mean, it does get worse.
Please.
One review complained that they weren't greeted on arrival and had been given one menu to share between them, and said staff had been snappy. The cafe responded, "Probably we didn't greet you because we were too snappy on that spot, and sorry that you had to share a menu between two people, but was that even a real problem to other people?"
Sorry, they didn't greet them because they were too busy being snappy?
Yeah, it's confusingly written.
It is very confusingly written.
I'm honestly not sure what they're trying to say there.
But I would say this, that customer sounds annoying as heck.
Yes.
I would prefer not to be greeted upon entering a cafe.
I'd prefer not to be greeted at all. I'd prefer there to be an iPad on the table and I press a button and the food comes.
I mean, my ideal cafe is a guy who knocks on my door with my bag of Uber Eats and he says, "Here." And I say, "For Rebecca?" And he says, "Yes."
I have a weekly pizza and Riverdale evening on Fridays with my friend Emma, and we always order the same thing from the nearby pizza place, which means, and it's always delivered by the same guy. And when
he's sitting there waiting for your weekly date.
Yeah, but I'm starting to feel such shame when he comes to the door and he's just like, "Hi, how are you going?" And I'm like, "We're getting far too friendly."
That's when a barista learns your name and you can never go back to that cafe again. As soon as the barista knows you, you cut and run.
At a certain point, I'm going to have to invite him in to watch Riverdale.
The problem is, when the barista learns your name, because when I used to work in Town Hall and I used to walk from Wynyard, there were a couple of different shops that I would stop at to get a drink on the way to work. And one of them was the T2 in the QVB. Yes. And the other one was the Cha Time, which is right next to Town Hall Station, which is where my work was. Anyway, if I decided to buy T2, I would walk past that Cha Time holding the beverage that I had purchased. And the person behind the Cha Time counter would make eye contact with me, seeing that I had purchased an iced tea from somewhere else on that morning.
Oh, no.
I used to live on Broadway in student housing at UTS, and there was a Cha Time down there. And I would go there, let's just say often, and to the point where the service person who became very familiar with me in a way that, when they would pass me something or I would hand them cash, they would, sensually touch my hand on the way back. But also, one time I ordered my usual, which was, pretty basic, and they were just like, "Wow, pretty boring, huh?"
Did they say that to you?
Could try something different. And I was just like, well, I guess I'm never coming back here.
Why would you say that?
You're ashamed.
It's so mean.
I know.
I got caught by... There's a coffee store near my work, and they're one of those sort of bougie, sort of hipster fixes. And on the days where I have to catch a bus into work, because normally I drive, I will treat myself to a Starbucks from Wynyard Station. And I walked past the coffee store on the way to work, and he saw me holding the Starbucks cup, and he would not shut up about me buying a Starbucks coffee for 3 full weeks.
I feel like I've probably told you two this before, but I haven't told our audience this. I used to date someone who exclusively drank Starbucks coffee to the point where after she would go for her morning run, if I was staying over at hers, she'd be like, all right, come on, let's get in the car and drive to the nearest Starbucks so I can purchase my Starbucks coffee.
The thing is, in Australia, you're never more than 100 metres from a coffee shop at any point selling barista-style coffee.
Yeah,
you don't need to drive specifically for Starbucks.
She lived in, the Randwick sort of area. There was nice coffee shops everywhere.
That is horrible.
We dated for 18 months.
Was that the first red flag? Mental red flag, we're driving 25 minutes to get a $7 shitty latte.
She threw up on my train line a lot.
Okay. Now let's just roast the exes cast.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Clara
is there more to the cafe story?
Yes.
Let's go.
Only a bit. Let me get through it. I'm sorry, we're getting very tangenty again.
This is our brand.
Clara said her issue with the cafe was its cleanliness, and that the staff seemed put off when she asked them to wipe down the table. When she shared her opinion on Zomato, the cafe hit back, and Clara said that was the final straw. It would be the first and last time she visited the Plum.
Good.
And another customer said their toast was soggy, eggs were not runny, and their hollandaise lacked flavour. The cafe said, well, honestly, I feel sorry for you. Because just reading your review or all other reviews, the only thing that I feel is hate. Also, I wondered if you have a partner or nah. If yes, I feel sorry for that person as well.
Oh, dear.
A partner or nah?
They just really turned it up to 11 on that one.
Just roasting
Because the first review is just if you wanted a beef burger, maybe go to a store that sells beef burgers. And it's okay, that's a fair criticism.
And then the second one was fuck off. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then this one is you're a piece of shit,
you are
and I
a
feel
deeply
sorry
sad
for your
man.
spouse.
You're a disgusting incel.
Your
Even if
partner
you're
is
married, you're an
suffering
incel.
by having to be in your presence.
Oh, God.
That's the last good bit of the story. Allison, do you have another one for me, please? Or for us, please?
Oh, well, Rebecca, do you have a story next?
I do, in fact, have a story. And this is one of those stories where I feel like the headline really delivers all the information you need to know.
Most of the information.
But it's going to give you a great mental picture, and I would put money on whatever you're imagining. That's exactly how this is played out.
Okay.
So this was on a lot of different news sites. I'm citing 7 News just because the headline was the punchiest. I'm sorry, it was just the punchiest headline. Melbourne man spends 3 hours fishing for Versace jewellery in robbery at high-end boutique.
Okay.
I did read this story already as well, and it's very good.
It's like a scene from a movie where a desperate burglar uses any means possible to snag his prize during a daring heist. A balding man in a tracksuit has used a fishing rod to remove a Versace necklace from a mannequin at a high-end boutique in Melbourne.
Fuck.
The man was fishing for about 3 hours before reeling in his prize catch at about 2 a.m. on February 24. CCTV of the man has been released to police. We can tweet it, and then if anyone has any information, we'll be able to help catch this criminal.
Sure. With a huge audience.
Yeah,
exactly.
So he just straight up had a fishing rod in a window for 3 hours and managed to get a $1,000 necklace out.
I don't want this man to be caught because he's the coolest man alive.
Yeah, that is
3 hours. That really tracks the fishing, though, doesn't it? That he spent 3 hours doing it to get one thing.
He has years of fishing experience to be able to sit there for 3 hours.
I've been fishing exactly once when I was about 11 with my dad, and because I was a white boy, and my experience was that you just kind of sit there and you dangle it in the water and you just wait. But what this guy was doing, I feel like if he just waits, the necklace isn't going to bite. You know,
that
well,
you know
it might.
of.
You never know. Have you ever been in the Versace
He's
store?
cracked a beer. He's got a nice hat with the corks. He's just he's got the fishing rod propped in case anything happens.
And he's just looking up at the starry night sky,
and
waiting.
He's admiring
for
it, yeah. And he's like, oh God, here starts reeling it in.
Because I'm kind of imagining him just really frustratedly, just trying to get the angle right, just being like, come on, you little fucker, get on the fucking...
And I'm imagining a passerby walking by. At least one person would have walked by in that 3-hour
It's
window.
a 3-hour
seeing a
period
man with
is
a
a
fishing
long
rod
time.
in the window thinking,
This is normal. Okay, because I was imagining he was on the roof and the fishing line was descending through the skylight.
he was on the footpath. He had
was
smashed
standing
the
on the
window.
footpath.
Holy
Yeah.
shit, why didn't he just go in?
He had smashed the window. The fishing rod went through the window, and then he's just kind of, I guess, jangling around, hoping it catches.
Why not just go in the store?
For I think the necklace was maybe $1,000.
At that point, you're doing it for the thrill.
Absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
he didn't
He
want the
just
necklace
loves
at all.
fishing.
Well, I mean, he can afford what is presumably... I don't know how much fishing gear costs, but I assume it's not nothing.
This is like a $5,000 rod.
Yeah.
And I mean, the tins of beer as well. He's getting craft beer.
I feel like fishing lines would cost about as much as like an archery thing would, and I've been Googling how much that costs because of the impending apocalypse. So
Sure.
Right.
I
Sure.
imagine we're looking at like a $1,500 kind of thing.
Do we start stockpiling fishing rods, do we think?
I mean,
Is
it
this
might
a
be
move?
helpful. Well, I mean, my
I'll
apocalypse
be
move...
honest. If the decisions in the apocalypse are to go fishing or die of starvation, I'd probably choose the latter because it would be quicker and less painful than fishing.
I think I would probably, in my aged state, I feel like I could come around to fishing because this may shock you.
Because you're
I
a white
love-
man.
Because A, I'm a white man, and B, I love sitting and doing nothing.
Well, that tracks.
It's a good
mean-
point. You raise a good point.
Yeah, it's maybe my favorite thing to do, actually. My problem is I'd have to bring, like, an iPad or something so I don't get bored
yeah,
and kill
absolutely, without a
myself.
doubt, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
So it
have
doesn't-
Netflix happening.
But see, what
And
I would
at
be
that
paranoid
point,
the
it would
whole
be
time,
watching Netflix outside.
Yes, and
Is
I'd
that-
be really frustrated by the glare.
I would be paranoid that a big strong boy fish would come along and jank on the fishing line, and then I would throw my iPad in the water accidentally.
Oh, no, don't worry, Allison. They make that shit waterproof nowadays, so you just have to go in and get it.
Just go in, and then the fish is there, like, holding onto it.
I mean, yeah, you definitely have to fight the fish to get your iPad back,
Or
but it
what
is
the
worth
fish
it.
will do, because in this time of the future, fish have become, like, more sentient, they're more aware. The fish will attach the iPad to the fishing line, and then you will get caught on the hook while you're trying to get the iPad
Well, see,
back.
Allison, the new iPads come with little styluses, and a lot of people think those are for, like, drawing and stuff like that, but it's actually not true. It's actually an anti-fish weapon that you draw when the fish tries to take your iPad to stab the fish with it.
Well, the fish already had your iPad because it fell in the water. Before you got to it, the fish grabbed it and attached it to the fishing line hook. What are you going to do? You can't grab the stylus because
But
it's
see,
already
Allison,
on the hook.
Apple's already thought this through because the stylus is in no way attached to the iPad. It's a very clever
Right.
design to stop the
Okay.
fish, and it's not just because they couldn't figure out how to make it
Oh
work.
no! It was intentional. You look up the specs. It's all there.
It's a fish killer.
Okay.
Big problem
So
though
you
is
put the
it will
you put
no
the
longer,
stylus in your pocket.
after
then.
it's got fish brains on it. It will no longer function as a stylus, and,
and
will
you'll
need
buy a
replacing.
new one for $499.
And it won't function as a
US.
Yes.
knife anymore either because it's a one-use item.
Yeah, no, it breaks inside the fish instantly.
Yeah.
You can't get it out of the
Yeah, it
fish.
snaps off in the fish.
And if you use a different brand of stylus,
Oh yeah,
to
no,
attack
that
the
won't
fish,
work. That
it
Samsung
voids
shit
your
will not
warranty.
penetrate fish scales.
It voids your
Fish are
warranty,
too
even
tough.
if
You
it
need the
does.
official
It's
Apple.
your warranty.
You have to bring them the fish to demonstrate that it was inside.
They'll cut the fish open and they'll see. Oh, sorry, this isn't an official Apple registered stylus.
Do you
so-
see this sticker here that's sort of lodged in the fish's throat? Yeah, you don't see that sticker on official Apple styluses, so we can't do anything to help.
They open up the fish, and there's this little, like, you know those things that, like, from shops that you get when you steal something and it sprays ink
Yes,
out?
yes.
They open up the fish, and there's, like, a little ink patch inside the fish, and they're like, unfortunately, because you didn't use an on-brand stylus, this did get punctured, so, that's $700, please.
Yikes.
Or we can sell you a new one for $800
Touche.
if you're interested.
If you're interested.
Well, I guess in the future they probably have monetized fishing a little bit more than they... Well, they already monetized fishing, I suppose. But that doesn't matter because we can make an app where we monetize fishing more, where what you do is that the app will help you to find fishing rods that are not in use at that point in time. And there's... it was...
Just, like, lying on the footpath.
You need to link up the fishing rod app to your card, and you can't pick it up without
unless the credit card's in it. Yeah.
Exactly. It actually has like an electromagnet inside it, so if you haven't linked it up with your credit card, you can't grab the fishing line because it's simply too
the little reel just won't spin.
But
like you can't turn the wheel and.
There is actually a hack, which is that if you put the fishing rod inside a Faraday cage, the Wi-Fi signal can't get out. And therefore it thinks it's authenticated, and you can then use it as a fishing rod. So if you carry around a small lead box, then you can actually use it.
If you are convinced that 5G signals are, turning everyone's brain to mush, then you probably are prepared for the fishing rod application hack already.
I mean, all of my beanies are lead lined.
Exactly.
I don't trust the government.
Jesus Christ. I feel like we've gone a little off track with this.
Yeah, whose story was your story, wasn't it?
It was the robbery. I think the spin-off bit had more material to it to the story.
All right, I'll take it. Allison, do you have a story, please?
I would like to say though about this fishing guy that I think he deserves to keep the Versace necklace.
100%.
He doesn't have to throw it back.
100%.
Unless the Versace necklace was really small and it needs to be, of breeding age still, he should throw it back into the Versace store. But if it was a nice, healthy, adult Versace necklace, take that.
It was of size. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if it came out that this was just, and this is cynical, this was just a Versace promo thing, because all the articles make very clear mention that it was a terrific Versace necklace that's for sale. It retails at $899, and here's a photo of the necklace.
I'm just thinking, wouldn't it be great if it was like a really thin Lonely Island style chain, and then people would walk past him on the street and just be like, that's really unethical. That's not humane.
You shouldn't, that hasn't grown to full size, and it hasn't bred, and it hasn't repopulated the Versace necklaces.
That's not good for the Versace ecosystem.
Speaking of Ed Sheeran, I don't know if you mentioned Ed Sheeran.
What a fucking terrible segue, Allison! You piece of shit. Oh my god. All right, continue. I've got that out of my system.
Did you even say Ed Sheeran? Or
no, God, not even close. Not even close.
Not at all, dude. Wait up, my curtains are making a lot of noise. I'm going to stop them.
Okay.
I believe The Lonely Island was mentioned.
Oh, Ed Sheeran's in The Lonely Island, is he not?
No! Ed Sheeran's in The Lonely Island? Question mark?
Dude, no.
That's a hard no.
I know
That's
he's
Andy
not
Samberg.
in The Lonely Island. But how do you know that Andy Samberg isn't Ed Sheeran? Have you ever personally witnessed them together?
I like to believe, from the bottom of my heart, I choose to. It's like people who are fans of religion. I choose to believe that Ed Sheeran is not the same person as Andy Samberg. That's just a core belief I've based my life around.
Sacrilege, Allison. How dare you say that about my best friend Andrew Samberg?
Well, anyway, Rebecca has faith that they're not the same person, so I'm not going to disrespect her faith.
They don't even look alike.
Well, that kind of leads into this story as well.
Wow,
somewhat.
we've made that horrible segue into a natural segue. I hope you're all happy.
Well, thank you. Well, that's my skill, This is actually a story about a story, because my friend Anna, one of the show's dedicated interns, did send me a story a few weeks ago, which sounded absolutely excellent, I must say, the story she sent me. But, like a lot of people, she fell victim to a fake news.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. It's very sad. But the fake news was very good fake news, so, you know what? I'll pay it.
It's fine.
So I'm reading from Junkie, actually, and this is by Michelle Rennex, and it says, "Sorry to inform you, but the church-scamming Ed Sheeran impersonator is not real."
Sorry?
Okay. Please continue.
Anyway, so actually the Today Show did cover this story, the fake news version of it. But But to be honest, if I was the Today Show, I too would wish to cover this story because it's an excellent story.
I would want it to be real to the point where I wouldn't care. I wouldn't fact check it.
No.
In your heart of hearts, you deeply want this to be real. I don't fact check
anything on this show. I think that's been shown several times. But
in my heart of hearts, I deeply wanted this to be real. So when Anna sent it to me, I Googled it, and I very unfortunately happened across some sad evidence that it was not real. So let me read this story to you. On Wednesday, a photo of an alleged Ed Sheeran impersonator turned fugitive went viral online. By the way, the alleged impersonator looks nothing like Ed Sheeran. He's about as similar to Ed Sheeran as Andy Samberg is.
Andy Samberg is the Ed Sheeran impersonator who's scamming churches?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, shit.
That's the real story.
I mean, he doesn't need the money.
He just does it for the thrill.
Yeah.
Shared by the Known Satire Facebook page, Portsmouth, Ohio official. The post about a runaway named Ronnie Williams Jr. gained attention on both Facebook and Twitter. Accompanied by a photo of a man who could look like Ed Sheeran if you squinted your eyes hard enough in a dark room, the post read, "The fugitive task force is looking for Ronnie Williams Jr. of Sciotaville for fraud. He convinced 3 local churches that he is Ed Sheeran and even went as far as performing Shape of You in front of the Christ Community Church last Sunday," the post continued.
That requires real confidence in your own performance ability.
Oh, yeah.
That's like if Absolutely. I said I was Beyonce and I was like...
and then you offered to sing a song to prove it.
Then I was like, I'm going to do Crazy in Love in front of everybody.
I've just looked him up. Out of curiosity, I wouldn't say he doesn't look like Ed Sheeran.
I'll say this. I look like Ed Sheeran more than he does.
I wasn't going to say it. I didn't want to say that about you,
Chris,
but...
As you know...
Oh my God.
My sister is not a ginger. And what she's doing here is she is saying that all ginger men look the same. And frankly, as a ginger, I feel very offended by that implication.
I don't want to use the word racist because it's not legally, but it is discriminatory, and I don't approve of this podcast that has red in the name featuring this kind of hate speech.
This is a safe space for gingers, this podcast. And here you are, going right ahead saying ginger men all look the same.
Just like shouting about ginger genocide and how all the gingers need to be killed. It's not okay, Rebecca.
That's what you said. You said those words.
I have ginger friends.
You have a ginger friend, and it's me.
Well, I consider Allison a friend.
Doesn't count if they're related to you.
Moving on. When the pastor was asked why he believed the real Ed Sheeran would perform for $35 and a sandwich... Mm-hmm. He said he just assumed he fell on hard times. I mean, look, if you look at the picture, it could believably be Ed Sheeran who fell on hard times.
It could believably be Ed Sheeran who fell on hard times if you were like...
And then fell down.
A mega dad who only barely knows who or even what Ed Sheeran is
and
really
also
like.
Ed Sheeran aged 30 years and was in a horrific car accident.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean,
exactly.
as a pastor who's... I'm sure he's a super fan of music. I think all of those assumptions he could have come up with on the spot.
I don't know if this is an accent thing, but every time I hear an Australian person say the word pastor, I think of pasta.
That is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like, I just imagine just like a big fettuccine in a black suit. Like, that's the vibe that I get.
But I do think in our accent it's interchangeable, right? Because I pronounce pasta and pasta the same.
Yeah. Whereas I guess Americans like pastor. Pasta.
Pasta. I'd like to see my pastor and ask for a bowl of pasta.
So yeah, it's different. Whereas because we flatten all of those sounds, it's just all pasta to me.
Well, if you'd like me to get a little bit linguistic here, the little sound at the end there, we call it the schwa. It's like the sound. So when we say pasta and pasta, it's both got the sound as opposed to any other vowel sounds. I'm just going to continue reading.
Sorry, can I just ask real quick? What's the linguistic function for when an Australian says no, and like what happens at the end of the word no?
No.
Well, like no. Like no.
So when it sort of does like a wobble, when it does,
like when an Australian says the word no really passionately, it kind of goes like nah,
and they sound like Conan O'Brien doing it.
Well, maybe it is called the Conan O'Brien.
I think it's called
inflex.
Conaning.
I think us as all linguistic experts in the room, we're dubbing it. It's the Conan O'Brien.
Well, I would like to make it a bit shorter and just say it's called coning.
Coning.
Well, no, coning's different, Allison. Coning's when you go up to a McDonald's and ask them for a soft serve and then grab it upside down and drive away.
Or it's when, this is very topical, you slap a Coney 2012 sticker, like in a comical place. You're coning.
Preferably do it on some sort of 2020 election campaign sign.
Coney 2012. Oh, God. I lost a friend on Facebook over Coney 2012.
Oh, no.
I still recall this vividly to this day, because they kept posting Coney 2012 things, and I'm like, you do realise putting these stickers isn't going to take down a warlord, and then they deleted me off Facebook.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty racist thing of you to say, Allison. How dare you?
You don't know what stickers can and can't do.
I think you just want to kill kids. That's what I've
I don't know what kids can and can't do.
Do you support Coney?
You support blood diamonds, Allison? You support war?
Look, I'm not going to say I support Coney.
She didn't
because
deny
that would
she
be wrong.
Allison's a Coney head, is what I've learned here today.
No, I'm not a globe head like you guys. I don't fall for this
Coney.
stupid globe Earth stuff. I'm going to continue reading this.
Is the counterpoint to globism Coneyism? What? This doesn't make sense.
Have you ever met a flat earther who doesn't support Coney?
I think that Coney's hiding out on Coney Island, and that's all I have to say.
Well, Coney's hiding out on the underside of the flat Earth, and you can't go there. It's just where all the fugitives hide.
Well, I mean, but in the globe, Allison, they could be hiding on the inside of the sphere, because, I mean, like, it's hollow, so there's, like, an inside layer
like a
as well.
shell.
Yeah.
He's
The
in the
hollow
yolk.
Earth theory.
Yeah.
Earth's yolk.
Can I finish this quickly?
And it's funny, because it does taste like egg yolk, and there's a lot of it, and it's infinite omelets, and that's great.
So what you're saying is that if lava comes out of the Earth in a volcano, you should eat that because it's like egg yolk.
It's like a really well-poached Earth. It's
Wait for it to cool a little bit, because it's just out of the saucepan.
You could hashtag that like food porn when they cut the yolk of the egg, but it's like a volcano and millions are dying, but it's just a really well-cooked Earth.
I want
It's a
to eat
really good
eggs
omelette.
now.
Yeah.
I'm getting eggs later, that's it. That's what's happening.
All right, well, just make sure you get them out of the ground the natural way.
I will. See, there are volcanoes in this country that are active, so I can go get some.
Head up there,
ground
jump
eggs.
in.
Yeah. I wouldn't jump in. I'd, like, abseil down to just above it and then
just
dip a jar in Zelda style and just, like...
Actually, I don't need to bring a bucket, because what I'll do is I'll just bring my pre-buttered toasty soldiers up the volcano and dip them into the
directly
lava.
into the lava.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
genius.
like a soft-boiled egg, Delicious.
At a certain point, you may as well just do, like, the Mission Impossible, like, drop down upside down and just, like, lick directly from the paste.
Absolutely. I'm just going to read the last little bit of this Ed Sheeran fake news situation. Because I would like to clarify that as much as I wish that was true, it was not true. It did not happen, unfortunately.
Bastards.
The fake post quickly went viral on Facebook with over 41,000 shares on the original and another 330,000 shares on Twitter in just 24 hours. "You're lying, I'm dead," the viral tweet said. Sadly, the tweet was correct. The Ed Sheeran impersonator who performed for a measly $35 and a sandwich was indeed fake. The Portsmouth, Ohio official Facebook page is clearly tagged as satire and parody and even describes itself as a news and entertainment satire web publication for entertainment purposes only.
Can we just stop the train for a second here?
Yes.
Because, Allison, how would you define satire?
I feel like satire is usually picking on something that's like like making a thing about something that really happened. I don't know.
Yeah. What is the satirical target of this?
Ed Sheeran?
Who are they critiquing?
I think they're dunking on Ed Sheeran here the most. That this is who they think people would believe are Ed Sheeran.
Who's the mark?
It's quite a stretch.
Who's
my
the
whole
mark?
problem. Yeah.
Is it the church?
Well, I guess
I don't think it's Ed Sheeran, because it's not Ed Sheeran. It's an Ed Sheeran impersonator.
Sure.
Like,
But if I was to say this is a Chris impersonator, I got like the seediest looking dweeb little fucking freako, and I'm like, this is definitely Chris. People believe that this is Chris.
Okay, but if you said it was Chris and used that image, that would be a more effective fuck you. Like, I'm just, okay. I realize
that it's the real, okay, I see where you're going.
I realize this is in no way funny, but Allison, at this point, you and I are technically professional comedians, and I'm trying to understand how this joke is constructed.
You're trying to break it down. You're trying to understand the...
I want to know what they were going for, because I'm not sure if I get it.
Sure. Now, what I do think the mark does come later, if you just listen in a little bit more. Because we do find out...
I'm sorry.
I have to listen and finish what you're saying.
This joke are. And that is, in fact...
you say that to me.
The mainstream news media who did run with this story as if it was real.
Okay, so now you're suggesting that the mark was the mainstream media in that they just created a fake news for the fun of creating a fake news.
Just for a laugh.
Maybe.
This was all a long-term scheme to critique the current media cycle.
They did not pick a good political moment in which to do that. I don't know if I find fake news super funny at the moment.
It says, newsreader Tracy Vo introduced the segment where she claims that a major manhunt was underway for the fugitive. After uploading the clip to Twitter, the Today Show deleted the video after finding out it wasn't real. Addressing the misstep on air, co-hosts Carl Stefanovic and Allison Langdon said, "It turns out it was a fake news story all along. We did fall for this one."
That's a what a great goof.
What's the difference between a major manhunt and a minor manhunt?
Well, it's about the pitch, right?
Yeah, a minor manhunt, it's like sounds more somber.
Yeah, exactly.
Rebecca looks so angry right now.
Oh god.
I was gonna say that, and then I thought, no, that's not funny.
That's too stupid.
That's just like that's not the lowest possible hanging fruit. And I was just like, I'm gonna let you guys take it because I wasn't gonna contribute anything of value. But here we go.
This podcast is a safe space for whatever jokes you wish to make because we have about 5 listeners. And at this stage, I'm pretty sure all of them are
that's
insane.
That's not public information, Allison. That's
let's
private between you and me.
Everyone tweet the podcast right now if you're listening, and we'll get a proper head count.
If you don't have Twitter...
Make a Twitter.
Then I don't give a shit about you or your opinions.
Yeah, you're not valid.
As a human.
Jesus Christ.
I'm so sorry.
But if the Today Show would like a fact checker to check out their Ed Sheeran content, I would be willing to do that for a fee.
You don't even need to fact check. You just need to click on the page that's posted it and see that it's very obviously tagged satire and comedy.
Clearly that's difficult to do.
That's not a fact check.
I mean, I have failed at this before.
Clearly that's difficult to do. So if they would like me to click on the link and see if it's satire or not, I will be willing to do so.
I have actually used Allison for this purpose before, so...
Please click this link for me.
Allison, is this real?
Yes.
And then Allison says, "No, Chris, you dumb shit."
No,
Allison,
Chris,
I got a phone call the other day, and it was from the ATO saying if I didn't send my passport and $3,000 that I'd be arrested for security.
Yeah, that's real. You should do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
I did get an email the other day from someone saying that someone in my name had died and that I could reclaim the money.
You should.
Yeah, it's real. It tracks.
I got an email the other day that I'm pretty sure was spam. It was from someone who was pretending to be my boss, telling me that they didn't approve of my conduct at work and they were giving me an official.
Oh no, that's not real. Yeah, you should delete that and probably swear at the person who sent it for sending you spam mail.
Let's wrap up.
Before we finish, can I just read one last little thing for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
a special little closer, which is from a New Zealand newspaper, and someone shared it, and it's just going through the top 5 stories this week. Number 1, first case of coronavirus in New Zealand confirmed. Number 2, second case of coronavirus in New Zealand confirmed. Number 3, third case of coronavirus in New Zealand confirmed. Number 4, coronavirus. Mum with virus says her husband is New Zealand's 4th diagnosed case. Number 5. Number 5. Peanut slab ice cream bars hit New Zealand stores.
Absolutely outrageous that that's only ranked number 5.
Holy
Out of
shit.
all of those articles, that's the one I'm clicking.
Oh my god, I'm dead.
Out of all of those articles, I too would be clicking the peanut slab
The
ice
only
cream
one
bars.
that's roused anything in me is the peanut bar
I'm
slabs.
crying and sweating all over.
Oh dear. That's all. That's the wrap.
You can find us on Twitter or Instagram at Red Menace Cast. You can find us on Facebook at The Red Menace Podcast. You can find our sick merch on tpublic.com. Rebecca, do you have anything you want to spruik?
No.
All right.
Hard no.
Okay, well...
I tell you where to find Rebecca online, but her Twitter handle is private because of how shameful it is.
It's deeply personal to
Yeah.
me. Deeply.
oh dear.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Good luck and good night. Lizards unite.
Good luck and unite. Lizards unite. Wait.
Good luck and good night.
Wait.
Lizards.
Good luck and
Allison,
unite.
you got it
Lizards
wrong,
good
you
night.
dumb idiot.